Hey everybody, we're back, and all of the weapons have been rebalanced pretty much. As a general rule of thumb, all the guns are pretty much unchanged. The only difference being the rifles now take much longer to load, and then the melees are weird because swords got a little bit faster on average, and everything else got slower. So spears, which used to be very fast, are now insanely slow, but a lot can be thrown, and they have knockback. Axes are about the same speed, but they now have knockback. Hatchets are slow, not as slow as the other two, but they can be thrown, as we know. And yeah, swords seem to have gotten a little bit faster on average, and they feel like the winners of this update to me, because now basically every sword, except for a couple, are good dueling weapons, and now spears are the high damage dealers, axes are the middle ground, and hatchets are the cute little throwables that people aren't going to use very often. So let's start with carbines. In general, carbines have slightly worse accuracy than muskets, except the Calvet, which has musket accuracy. Calvet got a lot worse. It used to be the best carbine, now it's just kind of crap. 7.75 second reload, 55 damage, 62 to the head. Whitney is the good one now. 8 second reload, 60 damage, 72 to the head. The carbine, the Charlie carbine, 8.25 reload, 55 damage, 60 to the head. And keep in mind, the multipliers, I'm not going to go through all of them, but anytime you shoot someone in the body, just multiply it by 1.2, and that's the damage to the head. This applies to bows as well. I'll go through bows when I can be fucking asked, because I hate bows with a burning fucking passion, and they are such a bitch to test. That's carbines. Overall, the Whitney is the winner, which is the HBC, SLC, whatever you want to call it. Carbine, you get it from their specialty store, or you steal it from a HBC member. Muskets. These guys can mount bayonets. The Charlie and the Whitney are pretty much standard for musket level accuracy, which is better on average than carbine level accuracy. The Tradesman is rifle accurate. The Tane is musket accurate. The Clark and the Giselle are somewhere in between the Tradesman and the Tane. So they're accurate, more accurate than the Charlie and the Whitney, but not as accurate as the Tradesman. If you want the sniper musket, go for the Tradesman. It can mount a bayonet, which, again, that's unique to muskets, and rifles can't have those. So, the Charlie. 8.75 second reload, 65 damage, 78 to the head. Pretty standard. It's gotten a faster reload, otherwise unchanged. Same with the Whitney, it's a reskin of the Charlie. The Clark, 9.75 reload, 70 damage, so about what it used to be. I think it used to do 75 damage, now it does 70. The Tradesman, 9 second reload, 70 damage. This is the best musket for you unless you have a Tane. The Tane, 10 second reload, 75 damage. Very solid damage. And the one everyone's coming over, the Giselle, 19 second reload, 80 damage. I don't know why people are so crazy about the Giselle right now. Sure, it's, 80 damage, but it's also got a 20 second fucking reload. Like, you can reload a Giselle in the time your opponent can reload every gun they have. That's how long the Giselle takes. Honestly, they'll probably finish reloading every gun they have in the time it takes you to not reload your Giselle, because pistols are much faster to reload now. So, I have no idea why you'd run a Giselle over like a Tane, a Tradesman, or a Clark, but I guess if you really care about that 80 damage number, go for it. So, muskets in general, I would run a Tradesman or a Tane if you can afford a Tane. If not, run a Tradesman or a Clark. They're both just very solid picks right now, and then just ensure one and you're good to go. Unless you're running an insured secondary, in which case you want to run like a Charleston. Like a Charleston musket's perfectly fine, because it's going to get looted anyway. Now we got rifles. In general, the Bayern, Milton, and Reed are about the same level of accurate. The Reed's the most accurate, the Milton's least accurate, but they're all very, very similar in terms of, sight picture and general weapon profile. They can mount scopes, which make them, pinpoint accurate. They're beautiful and laser-focused. They basically hit scan at that point. Ferguson, we have no idea. It's a dev weapon. Apparently it's a rifle, but we don't know. Baron rifle, 12.75 second reload, so about the same. Does 70 damage, up from 65, which is nice. The Milton, 15 second reload, which is rough, 75 damage. And the Reed is 15 second reload, 75 damage, which is a Milton reskin. I don't know why the Milton and Reed have identical stats now. I hope that was unintentional. I hope that was a bug, because it makes no sense, because one's easier to get, obviously, and one's harder to get, so don't know what that's about. Then we've got the multi-shot weapons. The Blunder and Espingole both have crap accuracy, but the Espingole is less accurate than the Blunder. The Dopplet is somewhere between muskets and Blunder accuracy. The Dopplet, as we know and love, 10.5 second reload, 45 damage per lead ball, 2 lead balls, 90 damage total, 108 if you get both headshots. which is doable with the Dopplet, but not really with the other two weapons, which we'll get into. The Blunder is faster now with an 11-second reload. It's got 30 damage per lead ball for a total of 5 lead balls, which is 150 to the body, and somehow, hypothetically, 180 to the head. Espengole, 12.75 reload, 40 per lead ball, 6 lead balls, 240 to the body, 288 to the head. This is the bear hunting weapon. It'll one-shot a bear. I believe bears have like 250 health, so make sure you hit the bear and with at least one projectile in the head and you'll one-shot it. That's all this is for. It's for bear hunting. It uses 6 lead balls, which will fuck up your munition pouch, so in general, this is the bear hunting weapon. Unless you want to reload a munition pouch every single time you fire it, which is a bitch and a half. Espengoles are a pain, but they do a metric fuck ton of damage, so make of that what you will. They are the bear hunting weapon, ultimately. Well, to be fair, bow's the bear hunting weapon, because that's what bows are for, hunting nothing else, but if you have an Espengole, you can do that with it. Pistols. Don't really care about pistols. No one cares about pistols. Pocket pistol, 6.75 reload, 35 damage. It's dog shit. The only reason you'd ever run any of the new specialty pistols is if you insure them instead of a primary and a secondary, which is completely not worth it, because there's no pistol that's better than your primary or your secondary. Primary or your melee, so I don't know why you'd bother insuring a pistol ever. There's just not a pistol that's good enough for that yet. Pocket pistol, 6-second reload-ish, 35 damage-ish. Etienne, same deal, a little bit more. Bonnie pistol, same deal, a little bit more. Dorset, the HBC variant of the Sharp, is just a better Sharp. The Sharp, 50 damage, 9 reload. The only good pistol for, general gameplay is the Holstein. 10.25 second reload, 60 damage, and they're now very easy to get because they are tier 1 smithing. So do any smithing contract, and you'll get like 10 Holstein pistols immediately. The only pistol you should ever be running is a Holstein pistol. If you can't afford that, run a Sharp. The Doglock pistol exists. I don't have a Doglock with me, couldn't find someone to test on such short notice. To my knowledge, it does somewhere in the realm of 70 to 75 damage, which is cute and nice. It's basically like a musket, but that means you have to insure it, which means you don't have an insured primary, and you don't have an insured melee. So no masterwork, no Giselle. So, I mean, if you want to give up objectively better weapons, go for it, run a Doglock. And then we've got the Thunder Pistol. Does 80 damage, it's a shotgun, it shoots 4 lead ball things. I think it does 80, at least that's what it did last time I tested it. Might have changed it since then. It can't one-tap, even if you shoot in the head, but it does shoot 4 lead balls, so I guess if you have an Etienne and a Thunder Pistol, and you need to reload both, you've got 6 and 4, and that's a whole complete munition pouch, which is kind of cute. Otherwise, I wouldn't run a Thunder Pistol unless you're like... I don't know, what the fuck, when would you want to run a pistol that's good? I have no idea. I guess if you're on Bayeville and you're bounty hunting, otherwise I have no idea. So, swords. Let's talk about swords. So, overall, swords have their left swing attack widened. So, when they swing from the left to the right, that is a wider swing now. It doesn't swing further, it just swings more right. So, you have more reach in that direction. The Masterwork that we all know and love is still probably the best one. It gets 4 swings just like it did pre-update. It's fast because all swords are about the same speed now. There's a couple a little bit faster though. And they're all much faster than everything else in the meta, so just keep that in mind. Swords are now the fast weapons instead of hatchets and knives. Masterwork, as you know, 4 swings, 50 damage, just like it used to. The Cutlass got a nerf, surprisingly. The Saber is now objectively better than the Cutlass. So Cutlasses were 4 swings, 40, now they're 4 swings, 35 damage. So keep that in mind if you're running a Cutlass. It's going to feel like running like a rapier. You do 35 damage now, which is cute, but less reliable than 40 damage. So run a Saber if you can afford to. 4 swings, fast, same like the Cutlass, and 40 damage. These are all fast weapons, keep in mind. Dragoon, the Dragoon Sword. 4.25 swings, because it's got a little bit extra stamina than the other two. It's faster than the Cutlass and the Saber and the Masterwork, and it does 45 damage. This is the best craftable sword. The Dragoon is a very good sword if you can afford to run it. The best treasure swords, which are better than Dragoon Sword, is the Backsword and Falchion, which the Backsword got a glow up, and so they're basically carbon copies of each other. They both have crap reach. The Dragoon Sword has them both beat on reach, as does the Masterwork, but Backswords and Falchions have 5 swings, which is better than both those other weapons we'd covered. They're very fast. Falchion's even faster than the Backsword, and they both have 45 damage now. Backsword went from 30 damage to 45. It got a major glow up. So, strong recommend on the Backsword, even strong recommend on the Falchion. If you can't afford a Masterwork, you should be running a Falchion or the Dragoon Sword if you don't have treasure weapons. Just keep in mind to either make a shit ton of Dragoon Swords or ensure you're Falchion, because they're very good. Falchion's probably the best dueling weapon right now, apart from Masterwork. Firepoke and Rapier are dog shit now. They have the most swings of any weapon, about 5.75. You wait a little bit, you'll get 6 swings out of them, and they're very fast, just like knives are, but they only do 25 damage, so they're completely useless in any competitive meta. The Katana is a dev exclusive, we don't know what it does. Spartan had one at one point in time, we have no idea what its stats are, it's probably crazy, and I don't have a scimitar to test, I do apologize. When I get one, just like with the Thunder Pistol, and the Dorset, no, and the Doglock, I'll just put it in the description or a pinned comment, and then you'll get to see the stats. Hatchets, in general, God, so much slower. Hatchets they're not doing too well. I don't know why you'd run a hatchet right now. Tribal hatchets, you get 4 swings, down from like fucking 7 swings. They're fast. I don't think they're as fast as swords, but they are fast. They get 30 damage, 70 thrown. Stone hatchet, the craftable Kalo version. 4 swings, fast speed, 35 damage, 80 thrown. A little bit better than the Tribal Hatchet, which is the native starting weapon. Tribal Club. Tribal Club, 4 swings, they're middling speed, they're not as fast as the Hatchets. This is the Bonk Stick, 35 damage, 75 thrown, and sometimes it applies a Ragdoll effect, which is kind of cute. It seems to be maybe every other attack, or no, every other, like, throw. It seems to be, like, 1 and 2, I don't know. Tribal Tomahawk, 4 swings, it's fast, 40 damage, 80 thrown. If you want to spam throwable weapons, the hatchets, and specifically Tribal Tomahawk, are what I go for, because they have a much easier to aim throwing profile than spears and knives do, and so you'll hit your target much more often, and so if you ever want to park your native in a colonist area and just spam out crafting Tribal Tomahawks, then this is what I would do if you want to sort of overwhelm an enemy with a ton of throwable melees. Labrie's Axe got a bit of a glow up, 4.25 swings, middling speed, 45 damage, 85 thrown. Best Tomahawk thing right now. The War Axe, it's mid. All the fucking Tomahawks and Axes got slower. Tomahawks and hatchets got slower. So War Axe is mid, 5 swings, which is nice, middling speed, 40 damage, 80 thrown. It's good for what it is, but again, I don't think I'd run one of these over the swords, which are faster and better. Tomahawk, 5 swings, mid speed, 40 damage, 80 thrown. War Axe and Tomahawk are identical now. Labrie's Axe is better than both of them, so run a Labrie's Axe if you want to. Bayonet, 3 swings, middling speed, 50 damage. It's as bad as it used to be. Nothing to write home about with the Bayonet. It's an emergency weapon that's very predictable. You know the name of the game with the bayonet. Spears. So, wow, holy shit. Spears are the new axes. They are slow and cumbersome. Their animations are weird. Fundamentally, they lost their left side wide swing attack, and now they get a right and left poking attack. So, the Dragoon Sword with the pokey, imagine that on both sides. They're kind of weird. Some spears now do have knockback, and some can be thrown, which is weird. A couple have both, which makes you the best spears. So Ritual Spear, which is one of the tribal ones, 2 swings in total, down from fucking 7 swings, whatever. Slowest speed, 70 damage, 90 damage when you throw it. Long Spear, which is the tier 1 hunting thing. This used to be good. 2 swings, slowest speed. All the spears have the same very slow speed, by the way. 70 damage, 90 thrown, and it has a knockback effect, so I guess it's a good throwing spear. Boarding Pike, 2 swings, slowest speed, 75 damage, no throwing, but does have knockback. Great Pike, 2 slings, slow speed, 80 damage, knockback. I don't know why you'd run a Boarding Pike or a Great Pike. The native spears are strictly speaking better, specifically the Tribal Pike, which we'll get to. Stone Spear, 3 swings instead of 2, which is nice. Slow speed, 60 damage, 75 thrown. Tribal Spear, 3 swings, slow speed, 70 damage, 85 thrown, which is quite good. Tribal Pike, the best spear and the only one I'd ever recommend using. 4 swings, slow, but 4 swings, which is nice. It's the slowest speed, again, 75 damage, 90 thrown, knockback effect. The only spear of any of these I'd recommend using is a Tribal Pike. The only competitor being the Long Spear, but the Tribal Pike gets double the swings as Long Spear does, so just use the Tribal Pike. They're weird, they're kind of hard to block, but they're hard to use, because the new left-hand attack, it doesn't swing wide, it's just the pokey attack, and it's kind of poorly animated, and so it pokes in the opposite direction of the direction you'd be hitting. I guess it's good for hiding your swing, but it's very clunky, it kind of feels like fighting with a rapier when you're sprinting. If you'd use a spear, only one you should be touching is the tribal pike, because it can be thrown and it has knockback and does a shit ton of damage when you throw it. Otherwise, stay away from spears. They're just kind of worse axes right now. Then we talk about axes. They all now have knockback. The sledgehammer and the mace are the two fast axes, quote-unquote axes. Sledgehammer gets 3 swings. It's slow, but not as slow as spears. 55 damage, knockback. To be fair, you're using an axe for the 2-hit kill. That's what you care about. Mace, 3 swings, slow speed, 60 damage, knockback. Sledgehammer and mace are interchangeable, in my opinion. I don't know. They're just kind of the same thing. The broad axe, 3 swings, slow speed, 60 damage. They all kind of feel the same to me. The sledgehammer has the same wind-up, but it seems to have a faster swing. The follow-through seems to be faster with the sledgehammer. And the mace and the other axes seem to be a little bit slower on that, but otherwise they feel very similar to me. All the axes feel very homogeneous right now. Broad axe, 3 swings, slow speed, 60 damage. Tribal war axe, 3 swings, slow speed, 65 damage, which is nice. Boarding axe got a bit of a nerf. Broad axe got a big nerf. Boarding axe, 3 swings, slow speed, 65 damage. Great axe got a nerf, down from 85 to 70 damage. 3 swings instead of 2, which is kind of nice. Slow speed, 70. And then I got the mace here repeated, but you already know the mace's stats. So overall, axes are in a weird spot. Feels like swords are still better. The masterwork is still the best weapon, so it doesn't really matter. It's the best weapon for PvP and for group PvP. So dueling, masterwork. Outside save zone, masterwork. It's the answer to everything right now, even if all this stuff was changed. And then finally, knives. Knives are fucking annoying. All the regular knives, of which there's like 10, they do 20 damage. The superior knife, the ritual knife, the kukri, they do 25 damage. All the knives, including those, get about 6 swings, and they're all the fastest possible melee speed, so they're the speed of like the Dragoon Sword, if not a little bit faster, and the speed of like the Falchion, and the Rapier, and the Fire Poke, if not a little bit faster. Throwing knives get 6 swings, but they do 10 damage if you stab with them. They do 50 damage if you throw them, just like they used to. Kunai knives, which are the better throwing knives, do 15 damage, 55 when thrown, but who are we kidding, no one has kunai knives. They're one of the worst rewards for faction chests, so who cares. Overall, interesting balance update. It's cool, it's unique. In general, rifles take more time to load, the Jezzail takes way more time to load, and everything else that's not those, gun-wise, became more competitive. It's easier to get Holsteins now. Doglocks and Thunder Pistols are nice, but I don't know why you'd run one. Swords are very good. They are faster. They're nice, and they're the one thing that didn't get hurt with all of the slowness changes, because everything that's not a sword is now slower, so just keep that in mind. Interesting balance update. We'll see what comes of it in the future. I'm gonna try and link this stuff as a PDF in the description if you want something easier to access. Thanks for watching, everybody.